Hey guys, how y'all doing? So this is about the what is it? I don't know what time. It's like the third time, fourth time. I think I've been trying to do this video all morning. So maybe it wasn't meant to come out or something. I don't know. But what's going on today is I'm sorry about that. What's going on today is I call it the Argentinian beef saga, and it sounds funnier every time I said it. But today, I feel like I want to talk about what's going on in front of our faces and what's going on off in the distance. Maybe it's in your peripheral, maybe it's not, and maybe somebody shifts just a little bit and you can't see the hand. What's going on while I'm showing you my nunchucks? Okay, so that's going on all the time in America, all the time, all over the world. All right, they're telling the people one thing, they're getting you focused on something, and they're doing something in the background, or they're just doing it so regularly that you don't even it doesn't register with you. Like it's like cruelty sometimes. Like you see something horrible so much that it's just kind of like, oh, okay. Like when I watch wrestling and somebody comes out and they get a chair shot, instead of me being appalled that, oh my god, he got hit with a chair, I'm like, oh shit, he got hit with a chair, and I'm waiting for the next thing to happen. And somebody recently brought up that Trump is using the WWE strategies, and I wholly agree. That's Robbie Roadsteamer. That's the dude who dresses up and gives the business to those people who are persecuting other people. But it's true. It's like Trump hired Linda McMahon for the Department of Education. So that's Finis McMahon's wife or ex-wife. I don't know what's going on with that. I like wrestling, but she's gonna run the Department of Education. But anyway, back to the uh, distractions. There's always distractions. So whether it's the ballroom for X amount of hundred of millions, whether it's trying to get back money from his investigations from the DOG, which is another couple hundred million, right? Whether it's the budgets for ICE, which is like I think like another 800 billion or something like that. I don't know how much. There's a lot. Whether it's lavish vacations for people in the administration, these people are running up $1 trillion bill, and the the tariffs have only brought in 1.2 trillion. I've heard. So it's costing Americans money. Plus, they have to pay for his luxuries and everybody else's luxuries associated with him. Christy Noem's $172 million private jet, and also too, people had to pay to incarcerate everybody he's freeing from prison because he got a donation or a contribution to his crypto business, which his family has made $1 billion or more recently, and I think $10 billion for the year, while using U.S. resources to do so. And I say this because he's using his office as the leverage, the collateral, basically, for people to do this business. Yes, they have money, but they're not using their own money. They pride themselves on not using their own money. But anyways, back to the Argentinian beef and the U.S. Farmers not getting to sell their product because they're trying to get cheaper beef from Argentina. And I'm not no hating. I'm not hating on Argentinian beef because I don't know if it's good or not. And maybe it's probably good. I don't know. These people eat it too, right? They've been eating for a long time. Argentina's a nice place. Maybe they grow a better cow. I don't know. Um, but maybe it also has to do with the U.S. economic practices, their deregulation of how they treat the food, how their sanitation in the farms, whether they practice healthy, sustainable farming, whether they practice some kind of abhorrent, scary horror movie style farming where they got like a hole in the cow and the cow is pregnant for the rest of the cow's life. U.S. farming practices are disgusting. Yeah, when you eat food, just meat sometimes, and this is what I say. Like sometimes, like people, we're taught to kind of just turn off our sensitivity and just like watch something cruel happen and be like, oh, okay. But when you think about it, like they're they're real. Like the people who be like, oh, don't be inhumane to animals, but they're fine with how they treat livestock and all these other farm creatures. That I say American hypocrisy is one of a kind, and it also goes into the hypocrisy of whatever religions they choose to put forth. Um, and there's a couple things that I really mean to nail on this. In addition to the Argentinian beef, I just like saying that. Oh yeah, the Argentinian beef. But basically, it's like we let things go for some people. This country basically like it gives all their money to their trust to the rich to do the right things with money and resources. And the thing is, those people got rich by being horrible, cutthroat people. And maybe some of them didn't want to be that way, but at some point to get to that next level, they had to cut some throats and do some things maybe that we wouldn't do or wouldn't find so upstanding, so honorable. But what we get to now is um, promises are being broken by the administration. Whether it's giving due process in the beginning of the year to these immigrants that they're trying to take off the streets, or people that they're trying to deport and send back to wherever they're from, or sending them to some foreign prison that they or a country that they're not from. Those things are happening. Yeah, they say they're catching a terrorist here or there, or they're catching people who may do something or may not do something. They're doing minority reports on people, I guess. Um, it just shows how scared they are. How scared they are that people are going to come here, immigrate, get married, have kids, build businesses, build communities, and then become communities that vote against things like whatever the white supremacy agenda is, that vote against putting in judges who are going to back up corrupt politicians, that vote for their own benefits and not the benefits of corporations and the benefits of those who need no benefits because they are so wealthy. So that's a fear. And the fear of that trickles down to the tribalism. So all of a sudden, these rich people they're convincing maybe the people who are in proximity to their power, or people who are in the same race or the same religion. They're convincing those people that the others who are coming here are going to take away their way of life and prevent them from getting to the level of those rich people, because they admire those rich people. They feel that those rich people, or those corporations, or whoever it is, people who are wealthy, they feel that that's blessings from the Almighty. And if I was a religious person and the Almighty made everything with no money, you just needed a week and then things was done. I mean, your reasoning doesn't resonate with me. Like, he didn't need a dollar, like, or he or she or whatever it is that made the world or the universe or whatever. They didn't need anything. They didn't even need a cent. So you're telling me now all of a sudden these churches, they need donations and they need money and whatever. They need they take money to give influence to their flock. So if your church says, hey, go along with these fascist ideals because the government gave us enough money so I can cover the rent for the church for the year, or whatever it is, or maybe so somebody donated something, that's good enough reason to give up your standards and your values. But once again, these things are like some of the hypocrisies that go on in this country when it relates to how laws are made, what policies are being enforced. um, and I'm just a regular everyday citizen trying to figure out, like, why is this going on when it hasn't gone on like this traditionally. And even the two different political sides didn't used to get this, I would say, like, this rude, this blatantly, mean, racist, homophobic, everything else phobic, but they don't like Muslim, they don't like this one, they don't like that one. They are offended at people having different ideas. This is woke, that is woke. Like, what you're scared of is people exposing hypocrisy, exposing your agendas that have nothing to do with benefiting all people. You have agendas that benefit minorities of people that include corporations, wealthy business owners, and power brokers throughout the world. So it doesn't really matter when they say, oh, I'm a conservative, fiscal conservative, I'm a conservative Christian, I'm a Christian nationalist, I'm a this, I'm a that. You're still supporting people, financing war, financing genocide, um, destabilizing governments. Uh, you're still financing and you're still supporting people who are taking money away from the farmers right here in the United States. You know, whether or not Argentinian beef is good or not. Um, and trust me, I believe it should be some good beef. Those people have been cooking some good, I don't know, what are they making in Argentina? Chimichurri for a long time. And I've had some chimichurri. I love some chimichurri with the yellow rice and that clear sauce. Oh man, they make some good steak. But that's why I have no issue with the Argentinian beef. I think that's so fucking funny. Anyways, um, yeah, man, we're at the point where they're trying to militarize San Francisco. What's going on in San Francisco? They're trying to run through Chicago and run into apartment buildings. They're still doing nonsense off the coast of South America and in the Caribbean. Um, and I told myself too, like, if you guys are gonna go ahead and go to Venezuela, please leave it better than you found it. Please make it so that these people can uh, get their lives going and get rich from their country and prosper and just not be a puppet leader from the U.S. in there, uh, succumbing to the will of this idiot over here who obviously has no idea what he's gonna do. This is the same one who's been offering us a new health care from Obamacare for years, and now with the government shutdown, they're not trying to keep that going for and it's more Republicans signed up for the Obamacare than other people, and that they've been getting taken care of regardless of their pre-existing conditions and all those things. Right now, all that's being done is to see if that they can get these insurance companies and these private health care providers to just keep their hold on the American people and just keep getting more money and not have health care for all, universal health care. And once again, it goes back to what I was saying to myself earlier is we need health care for everybody. We can afford it. We could just put a tax in there and say, hey, this is enough. This should cover everybody for the cost of your life at any given time. You don't have to worry about paying a bill. You don't have to worry about them sending you the ambulance bill. You don't have to worry about them sending you a bill for the prescription, for your heart procedure, for your accident recovery, for your therapy. It should just be taken care of. Whether you're a vet, whether you're homeless, whether you're, a mom going to prenatal care or whatever it is, whether you're a dad and you need some mental health care because shit is crazy and you're working your ass off and you're seeing the food prices go up and you're seeing the country be at war with itself and you're seeing your kids friends getting snatched off the streets, or you're seeing your best friend or your family member being taken and you might not see them again. Maybe they get sent to somewhere they don't belong. You might need some mental health care. And a lot of people are going to need that in the future based on what's going on right now because they're seeing things that this should not be happening. Or like for a minor infraction of the law. Like, there's people that do worse things than come here illegally. All right. There's people who are pedophiles, who protect pedophiles, who do fraud, who have people murdered, who have other people persecute people because of their bigotry and hate. There's a lot worse people than people who come here or over here illegally. Now I'm sure there's a couple big fish that get through the net, and you catch catch something significant. Okay, cool. If you do that, fine. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. And I always say, if you can get here legally, get here legally, but don't sit there and turn somebody away who needs help and they can't get help because our country destabilized their country. Um, and I always say too, like, people are a resource. Don't round up all the resources and give them to somebody else. Now even our scientists are trying to get our way. They're trying to get away from the U.S. because there's no position, there's no money for research, um, and then also too, depending on where they come from, maybe they're still going to get persecuted. The ruling class is creating an environment for a subclass of people to pay taxes and fund whatever goals and agendas the ruling class wants. All right, without giving anything to the people. The people are just supposed to. They just want us to reproduce and give uh, more cannon fodder, as it were, to continue their assault on whatever can be taken for themselves and hoard it all away. And I always say, these rich people, they don't need, they could just be hanging out and chilling out, enjoying their lives. They make a choice to make people miserable. So I always say, people need to vote accordingly. People need to act accordingly when people do actions like that to you. And then they try to convince other poor people and other unfortunate people that they're doing the right thing because they go and attack their sensitivities about their religion, or if they have certain causes that affect them specifically, and they use that against them. They don't try to help them. They never try to help them. If they really wanted to help them, they would have, once again, universal health care. They would have um, more time for women after they have a kid, parental leave or whatever it is. They'd make sure that the kids learn the whole history so that our kids aren't ignorant on a world stage. They would make sure that housing is available for everybody. So if they want to round up homeless people, they can go ahead and make sure that they have houses too and jobs to go to, or some kind of way. Older people deserve Social Security so that they can live and retire comfortably. I think we all want that for our parents. All right, even Donald Trump, I want him to be able to just retire comfortably and chill out with his grandkids and not have to worry about all this hard work he has to do and fix all these wars and shit he claims. All right, you could just be chilling out with your grandkids. You could be, you know, you could have a podcast and get all the attention you want, but you choose to just make people's lives miserable. You sick. I want to say that, but I don't know if I can say that. I don't know if I should say that. I don't like to spend that much energy on being so angry with somebody, but it's like, you're not helping anything. These people are going to become future enemies of America. All right, you're going to get people killed. You're separating families. You're destroying families. And you know what? A lot of people forget to say is that even though you're waging this war on immigration and illegal immigrants, you're persecuting other Christians. So these Christian nationals are Christian persecutors, and they don't want to look at it like that, but that's what you're doing. All right, and it's not very Christ-like how they claim to be either. You're supposed to be nice to your neighbor if they're in your need, um, and you don't do that. All right, and a lot of these people, once they got to this land, once they immigrated, and or maybe they came here illegally, whatever it is, they started following the law of the land, because if you break the law, you generally get taken in by the law, and that endangers them from being here. So a lot of these people are law abiding. Um, Snatching them from the courthouse, snatching them off the streets at the school bus, going for their kids. That's fucking horrible shit. But I'm sure you've already heard that. And just the broken promises goes back all the way to when he said he would build a wall. That was just a scam to get contracts for business for his peoples he knew. I think everything that he's doing is some kind of scam to get business contracts for people he knows to gain more money, whether it's crypto, whether it's using taxpayer resources and taxpayer dollars to finance his opportunities, to go overseas, to make a deal here and there, to try to get a hotel or a resort somewhere. That's not helping the U.S. people. All right, that's not raising the minimum wage to something you can survive on. That's not giving us universal health care. That's not giving us housing. That's not making water and internet and food a human right versus everybody should be struggling. Like, that's not helping. You're not making states be responsible for themselves because you'll say, hey, state rights for some, but you're going to impose federal laws elsewhere. What's the point in saying you're going to have so much freedom and you're going to have so much of this when this is what you're capable of doing? And future, Republicans, Democrats, and whatever other parties need to understand too. Um, when you want to vote, when you want to run, when you feel you can do some real good, you have to comply with whatever the fuckery is going on with them. They're making it a gatekeeper system where real people who want to do real good things for the country won't be allowed to do it because this ruling class has already put the locks in the system. They're trying to make it so that you can't get past them. That white men run this country. All right, and the subordinates of white men in other places. Now, whether you think that's good or bad, that takes away the opportunity and it takes away the motivation to make better people. Like if you know that's the ceiling you're gonna hit, that's the boundary you're always gonna face. It's gonna kill American creativity and it's gonna kill American greatness because you're gonna take away all the inspiration from people once they know that if they get to a certain point, you're just gonna crush them with your force. You've already convinced everybody this is how they should be. You've already normalized being hateful and bigoted and mean and and privileged, so that now when people are born, they're gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it. We don't need to take this. Then there's gonna be, your people who are gonna continue to fight, and they're gonna try to get it back to what it needs to be, and they're gonna try to get back to the original spirit of what this great experiment they call it, what it's supposed to be. And you're gonna find out that over that time, you've uh, you've corrupted so much of the original intent. People aren't gonna believe it. People are gonna be like, nah, we didn't used to let everybody in this country. The border wasn't always open. They're gonna believe all the lies, all uh, the the remixed history, the romanticized history that they want to put forward. And oh my God, like I know I just did that thing where I just go off into space or whatever, into all these different, how do they say, the tangents. But no, it just jeez, man, we can't get this shit together soon. Like the Supreme Court's set up with whoever they're set up for. They're gonna ride for their boy. Um, all the rest of the judges that are in his pocket or have been placed by him are gonna do those things. Hopefully some of them grow a pair of balls or grow some dignity, and they do the right thing. And there are some that are doing it, but the people that he's put in power, and even more people that they're putting in positions are, they're gonna go from rounding up the immigrants. They're gonna probably start rounding up the gays and the lesbians and the trans. Then they're gonna hit the black people, and then they'll probably hit the Latin people, and then finally you get to the white people who don't like the other white people who are doing that, and then you get to the maybe you get to the maybe eventually they get to the Jews, because it's that thing where like, okay, they're gonna go after everybody they want until they stop at white Christian males and be like, okay. And then the white women are going to be subordinate to the white men, like how they say in the Bible. It's God, the husband, the wife. That's how they want it. That's what they want. They want to be the American Al Qaeda, the American ISIS. That's their That's what they want. All right, they're not saying it in so much words, but that's what they're pointing to. That's the direction they're headed. Um, and like I say, I'm not brilliant. I'm just a regular guy trying to figure it out. But I've been bothered by it for a very long time, and I feel so bad for the future generation. I feel bad for the kids that may be in my own family going, going to go to school and learn the bullshit history. I feel really bad for this generation of young men who think this is the way to do things going forward. Like you've emboldened and empowered so many people to be horrible that we're going to have a country full of very, very, very mean people. And you're going to see it's going to generate in your lack of population. People are going to stop having kids because they're not going to be wanting to have kids in these situations. And, once you've gone after all those people and you've shut down their laws and their rights, you're going to have people that are willing to fight back because they're not going to have anything to lose at that point. You're already taking away the food from them, all right? And you know how many foodies we got in this country. You're taking away their housing, you're taking away their food, you're making sure that they can't live in a van or a U-Haul truck or live out in the woods. Um, like there's only so much you can take from people that have nothing until they're ready to just go off and turn shit over. And I, for one, hey, if that's what's got to happen, that's what got to happen. I'm not saying, we got to wreck everything. I'm just saying you, it's got to be power to the people. If it's not power to the people, it's not worth it. All right? We outnumber any group, just the masses of us, 8 billion of us. All right? There's 300 and something million of us in this country. All right? Yes, 70 million or whatever, 80 million, I don't know how many, 70, 80, 60 million they say voted for whatchamacallit. But I don't believe that. I believe that those numbers were doctored. I believe that there were some kind of election rigging going on. And one day we may find out. Maybe Elon might spill the tea. I don't know. But uh, we outnumber them. Okay. And I think that it's very, very important to always remember that just because one rich man wants something doesn't mean he should get it. All right. He's not, and we've discussed this, he's not a king. He can't be a king. Now, I've heard this thing about him building an Arc de Triomphe in America to celebrate all his war victories, but he's not a general, he's not a soldier, he's a draft dodger. Let's never forget that. He's not no chief of nothing. He's not no commander in nothing chief. No. I'm never gonna, no. You don't get to dodge the draft and say, call yourself commander in chief. Because I signed up for selective service when I was younger, so I don't give a fuck. But um, yeah, man, we can do better. We can do better. We can find better people to run this country any given day. But we can't let these people be the judge and jury of who can run this country. We can't let them make the rules. We can't let them change the rules that we abided by so that they can have what they want. No, you have to follow the rules. You have to go along with the procedures and the protocols. If not, it doesn't make any sense the rest of us follow the law either. We could all just be living in a lawless country right now since you guys don't want to adhere to the rules that we all had to agree to adhere to. So, anyways, and as far as fiscal conservatives, they don't save no money. They don't save the environment. They don't save anything we need that is of use. All right. They claim and hide behind Christianity to justify all kinds of wrongs that they do. And, it makes the whole religion look bad. But also, um, persecuting these people right now is going to have a lot of problems for y'all later. And by y'all, I mean whoever is doing the persecution. y'all are y'all are gonna end up seeing the repercussions of that in so many different ways. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to help the channel out, I got the Cash App in the description. And other than that, you guys have a great day and enjoy yourselves. Remember, there's a lot more you can do to fight the power. There's a lot more you can do to help one another. Um, and this coming Thanksgiving, there's the food crisis going on because people are losing their food stamps. Go to your local food pantry, donate something. If you know somebody in need, help them out. Put a plate aside or whatever it is. Invite a friend over, invite someone, whatever it is. If we can help each other, help each other. We can be better, and we can get better, and we can get past all this nonsense eventually. Um, and keep track of your government officials, keep track of your president, keep track of what's going on in the world because they're trying to distract you from what's going on most of the time. But trust me, that brain of yours is so powerful, and you can definitely know what's going on 100% of the time. All right, have a great day. Um, what was I gonna say? Make sure you get some good sleep if you can. I like to take naps. Make sure you eat some good food. Um, and watch my videos if you can. I have a playlist just of like video games you can, watch me play like a minute of. And there's like, I don't know, it's not a lot, but I'm just trying to get some views to build my channel. And hopefully I can make some more of these type of videos because sometimes I just got to get this shit off my chest. And maybe I might repeat myself and go on to all kinds of different avenues and forget what I say, but whatever. I can come back to this later and be like, damn, I should not do that. Anyways, this is just going to be a big learning experience for me and hopefully for you guys too. Bye bye.